It's time to rank all 6 segments from the anthology VHS. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Hope you're having a good one today. I'm the Movie Ranker, and today I'm going to be taking a look at VHS from 2012, I believe. It's a horror anthology. It has 6 short stories in it. These anthologies are hit and miss most times. You never end up with every short story being good, you know? I do enjoy Creepshow, but most anthologies don't have the consistency with quality. You know, you get a couple good ones, couple bad ones. And before I get into this, I just want to say it was really cool to watch these because most of these people are big directors now. Not at the time in 2012, but looking back, you got some of these shorts have Radio Silence guys, the guy who made the new Scream and Ready or Not. We got Adam Wingard from You're Next and Blair Witch. Ty West, who's real big right now with his X trilogy. So it was really cool to see their early days and just to see what they could do with little amounts of money in this found footage style of horror. So without wasting any more time, let's get into my ranking. So for me, coming into last place at number 6, I got The Sick Thing That Happened to Emily When She Was Younger. This one was just way too bizarre for me. It was pretty creepy the way it started, and I enjoyed the whole Skype found footage style of things, like where how they're kind of like talking to someone on computer the whole movie. And yeah, when it was a supernatural type story at start, when you think there's ghosts and stuff like that, it was pretty creepy, pretty effective. But then we get the whole twist at the end, and it's just like, what the hell is going on? You find out that these aren't ghosts, that they're aliens, and they're using this girl as basically like an incubator. Like, she is giving birth to these alien creatures or hybrids or whatever. Very weird, and things just didn't quite add up to me for me. The aliens, they look so cheap, whether I thought they were ghosts or aliens. It that you could tell their budget when it showed them. If they looked a little bit better, I think it would have upped the creep factor even more. But again, it kind of loses all of that once it's revealed what's really going on. Yeah, even the title to this one is dumb. They couldn't even come up with a clever title. And yeah, this one I'm sure has its fans. I'm sure it has a cult following because of how weird it is and with the whole reveal and stuff, but did not work for me. Up next, at number 5, I got Tape 56. Now, this one was directed by Adam Wingard, who I'm a huge fan of. You know, Your Next is one of the great modern horror movies of today. I really love that movie. But this one, it's pretty mediocre. This story, it's a wraparound story, so uh, it's kind of the glue holding everything together. It starts off with this story, and it keeps cutting to the other stories and making its way back to this one in between, giving us little glimpses of what's going on until the end. Um, yeah, very creepy. These people break into a house to get a videotape, and they find a old guy that's dead in the living room. All that's creepy. When they go in the basement and you see someone run by in the background, that's pretty creepy as well. But it's kind of weird how they each take turns, these robbers, going one by one into this room with the dead guy and putting on these stories, these videotapes. Like, if you're robbing the place, why are you watching videotapes? I did like the mystery behind it, though. How every time one of the short stories were done and we cut back to this story, whoever was watching the tape disappeared. And in the background, the dead old guy kept appearing and disappearing, appearing and disappearing. It got me invested in the story. I was curious how this mystery was going to play out, but I did not like how it did play out at the very end. We don't really get any answers while they're disappearing. I'm guessing the old dead guy was taking them out because we come to realize at the end he's a zombie, and there's just nothing to tell that story. It didn't make any sense to me. It's like the very end, the last guy who's alive comes face to face with the zombie old guy, and it comes after him, and it just finishes. And I'm like, yeah, it wasn't satisfying. There wasn't enough there. It was very basic and straightforward. What you see is what you get. There wasn't a whole lot of layers in it, and I didn't like how it didn't explain a whole lot. So wasn't the biggest fan of this one, unfortunately, but it was directed really well. Up next, at number 4, we got Tuesday the 17th. Obviously, a play on Friday the 13th. And this one's the same kind of style where they're in the woods, going camping or whatever, by a lake, and they start getting picked off one by one by this slasher. And this should be right up my alley. I thought this one was going to be number 1 when I start watching it because I'm a huge Friday the 13th fan, my favorite horror franchise. But no, this one goes in weird directions. I just have to say, I hate the look of the killer in this. He's like digital, kind of like static, and like lagging a bit, so you can't really see him. And I was just like, that just makes no sense in the woods, this like digital killer or whatever. I just wish they had a regular slasher villain in here. This one would have moved up a few spaces for sure in my ranking. I did like the little twist how one of the main girls has been there before and survived, and she literally brought her friends back to use them as bait so she could kill him once and for all, because no one believed her the first time she went out there. This guy, like I said, he can disappear and appear in 2 different places at once, and he's like staticky or digitally, and I just did not like that at all. It took me right out of this short story. And you get some cool kills in here though, with the killer, but I just do not like the killer, and that's what brings this one down for me. Up next, at number 3, we got Second Honeymoon. This was directed by Ty West, famous for X and Pearl nowadays. He did other movies too before that, but I feel like he's really popular right now. And this one was one of the more basic stories, but I really did enjoy it. You get this creepy person coming in at night. You don't get to see them, and they're videotaping this couple in their motel, and rubbing their blade against them and stuff. I'm like, ooh, this is really creepy. And then the way it ends is you find out that the girlfriend of the couple was involved with this killer. They were working together to get rid of the boyfriend, and so they can actually have a second honeymoon. That was the second honeymoon, her and the killer, these lesbian killers. And yeah, it was really interesting, really gory when she's killing the boyfriend. I was like, oh, that looks gross and disturbing. It did really well. The only problem I have with this one is around the middle in the daytime scenes when the couple's hanging out and they're going to like the Grand Canyon or whatever. It's very boring. Like nothing happens. It's just to pad out the runtime. It really feels like filler. Yeah, not a lot happens in those daytime scenes. You're just waiting for the nighttime to see what's going to happen next. But I did like the reveal. I did like the twist. It was well made. Just a little bit of filler in this one. Reaching our top 2. Now these 2 are definitely the 2 best in this movie. The 2 best segments. I had a hard time choosing which was my favorite, but I'm going to have to go with, at number 2, 10/31/98, which of course is October 31st, Halloween from 1998. This one was directed by the guys from Radio Silence, with Scream 5, Scream 6, Ready or Not. Great guys, great directors. And this one's really well done. They get invited to a party, but these guys stumble upon the wrong house and end up thinking it's like a haunted house put on by these people trying to scare them, but it's an actual kind of haunted house. And once they go up in like the attic, I believe, they find what looks to be like a cult of men around this woman who's tied up, and they're thinking this is all part of the show. But then once they realize that the guys are freaking out at them and they run out, that girl's actually in danger, that this isn't fake. So they decide to go back in and rescue the girl. And all this story had me so invested. I was so curious to how it was going to play out. It was really well done. And of course, when they do rescue the girl, you find out those guys were actually trying to sacrifice her or whatever because she's a witch. They were trying to get rid of her. She's bad. And I like that little twist. You figure she needs saving? No, those men needed saving. Anyway, they rescue her out of the house and get really cool effects. The best in the franchise. The best in the movie, I should say, with like hands coming out of the walls and stuff. It's like CGI, but it's done pretty well, for this budget especially. And yeah, that's all coming all through the house. The house is actually haunted at this point, but it's the girl that's making it do this, and you don't realize this until after they get her out, get her in the car, they're driving away, and that's when she turns on them. Out of nowhere, she disappears, ends up in front of the car, and the car is stuck on train tracks with the train coming. and that was a nice little twist on things. I was like, oh, they tried saving her, she ended up being a witch, and they ended up getting killed over it. Really cool story, great Halloween little tale. Perfect to watch around the holiday season. I just really thoroughly enjoyed this one. But coming in the first place, I had no choice but to put Amateur Night, directed by David Bruckner, who did the Hellraiser reboot just the other year, and The Night House, which I absolutely loved as well. So yeah, this guy can direct, and this one might have the worst camera work. It's a little shaky and stuff like that, but the story and everything is super interesting. So much so that it got a spin off movie called Siren, I believe, or Sirens. That's how good this short was. People loved it, and it's the first one you see in the movie after the wraparound, so it really hooks you in to want to watch the rest of the shorts. And this one's about these guys go to the bar with one of them has these glasses that film, spy glasses. That's how we get to see everything without them holding a handheld camera. Pretty clever, but at the same time, the glasses had no other point in the film besides that. Um, yeah, and they pick up some girls from the bar. One of them being like super kind of creepy and going, "I like you." This only saying that, and they bring them back to like this motel, and it gets a little weird. The guys in here are incredible pigs. They're just misogynistic, and I was like, oh my god, I hope this isn't going to be one of those like exploitive type horror things. I felt like it was going to be like a rape revenge type thing at one point, but no, it really turns the tables, and you find out that one of the girls, the creepy one that they brought home, that's super pale, that she is like some weird creature. And just her transformation is really crazy. I like how it does it slowly. Like you see, like she has these weird like claws on her feet and stuff. Like her feet look really weird, and they start like kind of taking advantage of her, but she's going along with it. And the one good guy is wearing the glasses kind of doesn't want to be a part of it because he doesn't want to be with the other guys doing it anyway. And she ends up turning on those two other guys because she only likes the one of them, the nice guy. And yeah, it gets pretty damn brutal in this one. And like I said, she gets like all hairy and all messed up and grows wings and everything. And the effects are pretty good. She freaking like rips the penis off one guy and shoots it. I'm like, whoa, this has gotten really crazy. Weird, but really horrific. And that's what they were going for. And she eventually ends up killing them. One guy escapes, ends up falling down the stairs. She catches up with him, and he has like a bone sticking out in that from falling down the stairs, so he can't just like run away. And she's covered in blood. She comes up to him, right creepy, and she's still going, "I like you." And I'm like, oh my god, so creepy. And it makes you think. He eventually like kind of turns her down when she tries to go down on him. He's like, ugh. So she gets all sad and freaks out, and eventually when he's trying to get away, she goes after him. And it makes you think, if he would have just went along with it, would he have survived? But at the same time, that would have been incredibly weird and sick because she's covered in blood, she's this creature, she just killed his friends, as if you're going to go along with it. But it begs that question, right? And yeah, she's somehow sympathetic, yet a complete crazy monster at the same time. And it was really well done how they did all that. And yeah, just the way it ends with her picking him up and the glasses falling and them going through the sky somewhere. Just really cool. Like I said, it was good enough to get its own spin-off. So it's definitely the one that made me think the most after watching the movie. I'm like, that was pretty damn good. Disturbing, weird, but good. And it easily comes in the first place for me. So there you have it, guys. There's my ranking of all 6 short films from the movie from the anthology VHS from 2012. Hope you enjoyed it. If you like me ranking anthologies like this, let me know in the comments, and maybe I'll do Creepshow or more VHS sequels if you do enjoy this. But yeah, that's all I got for you guys today. Until next time, guys. Thanks for watching.